Alright, YouTubers, I'm back with the 2007 Honda Accord. I wanted to make a video of my tensioner went bad, so I wanted to share. This is the one I got off Amazon. It appears to be genuine, so I was going to show it. You got PNA up there, and then on the back side of this is the new one. You got Bando, JH14. And these numbers are different, but I'm assuming that's like plant numbers or something like that. And then also on the back of the pulley, you got the same JH14 Bando. The only thing I can't see is if the bearing is the same, but it's really smooth and it came pre-assembled, so I'm not gonna go ahead and take it apart. But this is the old one. It's Koyo, Japan, and then the numbers up here. It's gonna be 6203RR9HX1. And this one's actually still smooth. But the tensioner spring was starting to go is bouncing in the car, and the belt was like, I almost felt like it was gonna pop off. That's how much play was in it. So pretty sure the spring inside here went bad before the bearing, so I might hang on to this just in case. But here's the original one. You got the PNA, and on the back side, where is it? Well, it says Bando underneath the grime there, and JH14. Yeah, so pretty much the same. The only other thing I guess I could point out back here is there's a nut if you take off the pulley. So you got the washer, and it's a 14mm. So the concave, it mounts it just like this onto here. But so that's nut. It does have two sides. There's a flat side, which is this side, the shiny side, and then you got a curved side. So it went in like this. Flat side goes in. So if you drop it and you weren't sure which way it goes, curved side faces you. And it wasn't too bad to take out. I've heard some people snapping bolts, but I didn't luckily snap the old ones. I used my trusty 3/8 Icon. This is the longer handled one. Anyway, that's what I got it off with. And I think I used this a 12mm. Yeah, focus is terrible. 12mm. But I used a combination of different extensions, so let's see. So I basically used this, well, that's the 10mm I used to torque this down. So I went ahead and did the gasket for the strainer, the vtec strainer, and it's 2 10mm bolts, which I also used a breaker bar on to loosen. But yeah, I used this torque wrench. I did 87 inch-pounds. I started with 96, and I felt like it was getting pretty tight, so I just dialed it back down to, I think the manual is somewhere between 7.2 and 8.7 was the torque. But I keep seeing different things. The Accord, I keep seeing 7.2 for the back, so it's like, well, if the back one is 7.2, then is this 7.2? But then I've seen 8.7 for this. I guess you could do 8. That's what I tried to do, 96, which was 8, but I felt like it was getting pretty snug, so I just went down to 87, and it was already torqued, so I just called it that. But yeah, there's basically a little gasket in here. I didn't even have to clean it, but it looks like this. You got this little, pretty much only goes one way, so if you're looking at it in the car, this face like this. This one's all flattened. It looks like it was leaking a little bit. It wasn't terrible. And I also got off Amazon. I don't know if it's genuine, but so it looks pretty good. It looks about the same as the original when I put it in. But anyway, you got the 3 little holes, threads for the tensioner. Kind of makes a triangle. This one is for the big bolt that goes in the middle. which is gonna be this one. It's gonna be the longer one. And then you got these two, which is also the same size as the power steering, but I kept them separate just in case. But I know I used the short extension with, I believe it was a semi-deep 12. These are all Icon from Harbor Freight. But I used this one to get in here because it's a really tight fit with the pulley. I'm going to show it in the video once I get it back on, but I'm still waiting for bolts from Honda. So, and then I also used this longer one with the semi-deep socket to get this one because the pulley's like right here, so this gets you just past the pulley, and then it's really close to the mount. I could also show it because I'm going to try and get the torque wrench on there once I get the bolts and see if I'm able to torque it down, because it says 16 foot-pounds on the tensioner, so we'll see. Also 16 foot-pounds on the power steering. So you got these two, which go through the top of the tensioner. I also just used a little pick to get the O-ring off. Yeah. Alright, so I finally got my bolts in. So the center one that goes through here is going to be the long one. And that one is this part number. This is for the Japanese one. The American one, I believe, has a different part number. And then we got the two that go on the bottom. And then also the power steering is all the same. So they're 2 for the tensioner, 2 for power steering. So if you were going to do all 4, if you just want the tensioner, then you only need 2. So that's that. Alright, I'm back. So we got this bad boy in. And this is the serpentine belt tool I use. It's a 14mm shallow from Harbor Freight. It fits on here pretty nicely. And we want to make sure you get it on all the way here so you have enough room to push it towards the engine, and that loosens it. The only other thing is I was able to get both of my torque wrenches in there with these extensions. I use this one for the power steering. The center deep, it like just clears. I mean, you could obviously use a longer one too, but that was just enough, so that's what I torque power steering ones with. And then the second one is down in there. And I used this one. It's probably like a 2-inch. This one's maybe an inch with a shallow 12. This fits like perfect in here. So if you're using torque wrenches, you have to put it in first, because that extra I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but so I did 15 on this after I snugged it, and I felt like it was getting close to like breaking them, because this is a big torque wrench, but my little one like maxes out at alright, well, now that the tension's on it, you can't really get in there, but you can see it just fits, which is right where the bolts would be. So if you keep it angled down like this, you can get it, because it just clears the engine bracket. And then the same thing with this side, you can get in there. The other two are easy, but the one in the back is kind of tight. It was definitely a lot easier with the little torque wrench, but like I said, it maxes out around 16 foot-pounds. So, but obviously you can see it's a lot smaller. So if you want to use that one, it's actually probably easier not to over-torque it, but the 15's more within the middle of the range with the other one, so that's what I used. But definitely be careful with that big one, because I felt like if you put pressure on it, you could over-torque it so easily. The middle bolt was definitely easier to not over-torque than the two sides. Felt like they were pretty tight at 15. I didn't even get it to click. I felt like I heard it like crack the aluminum, or not crack the aluminum, but make that ting sound. And I was like, yep, that's good. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I showed the part numbers. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to show the bando bolt. I went ahead and installed the bando belt. I had a Continental on before, and I don't know if that was part of my problem, but I think it was the tensioner probably going out. You can see it kind of chewed it up because it was shaking. But I didn't really have any issues with this belt, to be honest, besides whatever. I think the tensioner failing. So I don't know if it had anything to do with the belt, if it like stretched, or if it was just coincidence, but it has been fine for quite a bit. Probably I had it on there for 40,000 miles, so it hasn't squeaked or tripped or anything like that. But you could see on the indicator here, mine was like to the right of center, like this line was way over here. So that also gave me an indication that the spring was getting weak, or the belt was stretched, one or two. But the way it was bouncing, I'm gonna say that spring was shot.